Good morning. How are you? This is Nikita. This is another day which the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be exceedingly glad in it. I hope and pray that you are having an awesome day. Rejoice because God made this day just for you. He touched you with his finger of love to wake you up this morning. I hope that the first thing you did this morning when you woke up was told God, thank you. Good morning, Tootie Booty. That you told God, thank you for waking you up this morning, for thinking of you during the night, for keeping you, for holding you in his bosom, for rocking you to sleep, for singing a beautiful love song over you while you slept, and then he touched you and woke you up this morning. So I hope that you thanked him for waking you up, no matter what the circumstance is that you may be in. Still thank him for waking you up, because he's giving you another day just to get it right. And then when he woke you up, he gave you a new set of grace and mercy, because on yesterday you probably expended it just like I did, the grace and mercy that he gave us. And his word also says that he loads us daily with benefits. So the benefits that you had on yesterday, whatever they were, good morning, honey bunny, you expended them, you used them, and he's going to load you with some more, praise God, on today. So we hope and pray that you will get yourself together today, that you will not procrastinate, that you will not be slothful, that you will do those things you know you need to do to get to the place where God is sending you to, the future and the hope that he's already given you, that thing that he knit you together to do in your mother's womb. I hope and pray that you're getting yourself together to get into that mood, to do what it is that God would have you to do. So this morning, thank you for joining. Again, I hope and pray that your day is doing well. Again, my name is Nikita, and I am your inner dialogue transformation expert. Inner dialogue transformation expert. What does that mean? That means that I am here to assist you with transforming the language you speak to and over yourself and over your situation. So that's what we've been doing since June. We've been coming out here decreeing and declaring, talking about pulling weeds and getting rid of that stuff that's keeping you down and below the bar, keeping you below the standard that God has set for you, which is really high. The bar is so stinking high. It's nothing that's unattainable. It's nothing that you can't reach, because God knows what your abilities are, because he gave them to you, and he knows what you can do. And we're going to say this twice. I'll go ahead and let you know, just in case you didn't know. Spoiler alert, you've already won. You've already got the victory. All you got to do is walk this thing out. And I'm not saying I'm walking it out perfectly. Not even saying it right now. The walk that I'm doing is the way that God would have me to do it. But I'm in it and I'm doing it. Asking him to lead and guide me all along the way, to do the things that he would have me to do, the way that he would have me to do them, and asking him to forgive me if I'm not doing it the way that he would have me to do them. So, what good can come out? And I got 3 ellipses. So I talked about last week that I was going to do this Saturday, and I didn't get an opportunity to, so we're going to do it today, and then we're going to pick up tomorrow with our next topic, which is going to be we're going to be talking about our emotions. And all this is still about tending our soul, tending that stuff that's in your mind, your heart, your soul, pulling those weeds that are keeping you from being the person God would have you to be. So last week we attended from Sunday to Wednesday the Birthing Place revival that was sponsored by Worshipers Unlimited. Good morning, cousin. How are you? That was sponsored by Worshipers Unlimited, and then Joshua House Ministries, supported. We assisted in putting it on, whatever, but we supported it. Basically, we supported Prophetess Unique in her first conference. So the Birthing Place revival, the intention of it was to give you, if you attended, was to give you the push you needed. There was some deliverance on Sunday. There were some prophetic words that were spoken, but it was to push you into that next thing God has for you, that thing that's inside of you that you have not pushed out, that thing that you have not birthed. It was to give you what you needed in order for you to do that. So there were some takeaways from it. The whole week was totally awesome, and there were some things that came to me as we were going through the week and furthermore and after the revival that I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share it with my friends, with my family that join me every morning. Let me stop very quickly and do some housekeeping. If you're watching live, thank you so much for watching, for taking time out of your morning. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching whatever it is that you're watching. Please be sure to share with your family, friends, and followers if you feel this will bless them in some way. Don't be shy about giving a thumbs up or heart. It lets me know, 1, that our internets are connected, and number 2, that the information is resonating with you. Now, back to our regular scheduled programming. So what I wanted to do was just to give you some revelations that came to to me to share with you, because it goes with what we're talking about. Because while we're pulling the weeds, we're tending our soil, we're getting our language together so we can be those people that God would have us to be, so we can know who we really are in God, so we can know who we really are in Jesus, that we put him to the forefront of our mind, and remember that while we're living this life, that we're not living this life for ourselves, that the story that we have to tell is not just our own, that we are doing this, that the things that we go through, we should be sharing with other people, as it is pertinent and as God leads us to do, that are the children that are in our lives, whether we birth them or we have influence in their life, that we share with them things that will better them and not hinder them. So, the birthing place. Several things came to me, and I wanted to give us a definition, if I can find my phone, of birth, and I think I wrote it down. Yes. So, in case you didn't know, and whatever I say to you, whether it's scriptural or whatever, go research for yourself. Pray and ask God what revelation he would have to give you over scriptures when I give them to you. But birth, did you know that it has two definitions, a noun and a verb? The noun of it is the emergence of a baby or other young from the body of its mother, the start of a life as a physically separate being, separate from its mother. That in itself just is, I said that definition as I wrote it down, some things came to me. But the verb for birth is give birth to a baby or other young. A verb is an action word, if I can remember from school. A verb is an action word. So when you're giving birth to whatever that thing is that God is giving you, there's some action. Just like faith without works is dead. There's some action you have to put to the birth when you're birthing whatever that thing is. And what I'm saying is that when you give birth, it's not just about women having babies, because men can give birth to vision. Whatever it is that God has given to you to do, that thing that he knit together in you when he created you, when he fearfully and wonderfully made you, you're supposed to birth that out. You're supposed to put that out. You're supposed to use the talents and the gifts that he's given you with his support, with his strength, because we're weak. So we take God's strength. He gives us his strength in order for us to do the things we're supposed to do. When you birth that thing out, that's an action. When you're pushing it out, when you're bringing that thing into fruition, like Prophetess Unique doing the conference in itself, that was her birthing something out. It's the emergence of something, the emergence of a baby, the emergence of my niece is on here, Tootie Booty. She works, I can't remember. It's the Opryland Golf Course. I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyway, she works there. She likes to cook. She's been talking about cooking for years. So she's gotten the opportunity to now work under a chef to cook. She's been able to create a dish that they actually put on the stinking menu, which looks totally delicious. She's been able to learn how to set up food and to do the things that she wants to do. So her creating that dish and learning the way she's learning and producing these things, she's birthed that stuff that God's put inside of her is coming out. So she's birthing something. Whatever it is that God has put in you to do, when it comes out of you, you're birthing something. The thing about what you're birthing is, are you birthing something that's going to sustain life? Are you birthing something that is going to be a benefit to somebody else? Because for those of us who have physical children who've actually birthed people, my prayer is that my children will be an asset and not a liability in their community, in their sphere of influence. Whatever it is in this world, I want them to be an asset, not a liability. I don't want them to take more than they give. So the same thing with the thing, whatever it is that you're birthing, like this broadcast, I don't want it to be a hindrance to anybody. I hope and pray that you see Jesus when you watch it, and that something is planted down on the inside of you that helps you on your journey along the way that you're on, right? So that's what we want, to birth things that are going to assist people. Okay, so outside of that, the birthing place, the place. We talked a lot last week. It was talked about a lot of last week about birth. Pastor Rita talked about the different stages of birth. The apostle on Sunday talked about you being born at the time that you're born in, which reminded me of Esther, when Esther's uncle, you got to go back and read this in the Bible. I love the book of Esther, but Esther's uncle told Mordecai told Esther, because she didn't want to assist the Jews that were going through the issues that they were going through, and she didn't want to assist, and he told her, how do you know that you were not put here for such a time as this? How do you know? Don't despise where you are right now. Because how do you not know that you were born in the month that you were born in, the day and the year, for you to be right here today on November 19th, 2019? You were born for such a time as this. Do not sit on your laurels, allowing yourself to be stagnant, because there are some things that come to your mind that are really good ideas that you're just keeping quiet because you don't know how to produce them. But I promise you, there's somebody in your life that knows how to get that thing that's in you, whether they know they can actually assist you with doing it, or they can point you in the right direction. There's something in you that you should be doing. Even if wherever you are, that may be where you're supposed to be. Maybe. I'm not telling you if you're in a place that you're like, but you don't know, I'm like totally depressed. This is like totally jacked. Pray and ask God, what would you have me to do? Don't despise the place where you are. And if where you are is not where you know where it's not where God would have you to be, then you need to go to him and ask him, where is it you would have me to be? Because he will begin to put people in your life that will help reposition you in the place that you need to be. Which brings me to a midwife. If you know about, go and read, I meant to look it up so I can give you the actual scripture. But during the time of Moses, the Pharaoh was attempting to kill all of the Hebrew babies, right? So, Moses' mom put him in the basket and sent him down river, and then she ended up being his wet nurse. Totally awesome. You gotta go read it. But at any rate, some midwives were saving the babies, and they went. The Pharaoh asked them, and I'm paraphrasing a lot here this story, but the Pharaoh asked them. And I'm moving to a different point. So if I'm moving too fast, or if it seems like it's all over the place, it's not. Because I'm moving to midwives, their position. Because I just told you about there's someone out there that can probably position you in the way that you need to be. That's a midwife. Someone that can be there to assist you in the birthing process. But midwives, Bible, Old Testament. Pharaoh had assigned 2 Hebrew midwives, kill the babies when they come out. So these 2 midwives were not doing that. They weren't killing the babies. So when they went before the Pharaoh to report, he was like, what's going on? Why are these babies not dead? And they were like, these Hebrew women are strong. So by the time we get there, they already had the babies. We can't do nothing. They already had them. So when your midwife is assisting you, they should be assisting you however they are positioned in your life. They should be able to assist you with birthing that thing, whether it's conversation, whether it's prayer, whatever it is. They should be able to assist you with that birth that you're having. The midwife, birthing, the birthing place. Where are you having your baby? Where are you birthing your baby? Sometimes we think that we need to be in certain places in order to birth our baby. We say, well, we'll do X, Y, and Z when I have the money. We say, I will do X, Y, and Z when the kids get older. We say, I will do X, Y, and Z when I have better clothes to wear. We say, we will do X, Y, and Z when I'm able to get my hair done the way I need to get it done. Whatever it is, my shoes are better. Whatever it is, you say when you're in a better place, I will be able to do X, Y, and Z. But the Bible tells us in Zechariah 4:10 not to despise small beginnings. So don't despise. Good morning, D. How are you? Don't despise where you are right now, and don't despise your small beginnings, because where you are right now, God has you there for a reason. He has you there so that you can appreciate where you are, right? So when I give you the more, you won't get to a point where you are overzealous and you forget who got you to where you are. Have you ever read, especially in the Old Testament, have you ever read where God tells them, I'm doing this so you will know, or rather so they will know that it was me who brought you out. That I, Yahweh, Jehovah, brought you out. You didn't do it upon yourself. That's why I always use Gideon, because he's my buddy. But that's why he whittled the army down from the 32,000, or it was more than that, but at least 32,000 to the 300. That's why he whittled them down, so they would know that it was him that brought them out and not them. So here we come to the scripture that gave me the title for today, What Good Can Come Out of Nazareth? And that is John 1:46. But I wanted to read to us John 1:44 through 46, because this is talking about Jesus. Is it one? Yeah. What good can come out of Nazareth? What good can come out of Nashville? What good can come out of Los Angeles? What good can come out of Seattle? What good can come out wherever you're from? What good can come out of where you're from? You can come out of where you're from. You're the good. the birthing place, the place where you were birthed, not just your physical birth, but the place where your, whatever it is that God has put down on inside of you was birthed. What good could come out of there? John 1:44-46. Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethsaida. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, and about whom the prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Verse 46, Nazareth? Can anything good come from there? Nathanael said. "Come and see," said Philip. Philip told Nathanael, "Come and see what came out of Nazareth." And that's what God is. When God puts you in position for you to be before people, that's what he's saying. Come and see what I did. Come and see what I knit together in her mother's womb. Come and see what was fearfully. Good morning, Stephanie. Come and see what I fearfully and wonderfully made. Come and see. That's what Philip told Nathanael. And whatever that thing is that God's put in you to birth, come and let people come and see that thing. Don't worry about how you look, because when God gets ready for you to birth that thing, you will look the way that you need to look. People will accept you for the way that you are when he gets ready to birth that thing, whatever it is, out of you. And I'm going to leave you with this. I have more notes than what I'm giving you, but I'm going to leave you with this. That Jesus, this is, I said the other day, I read a scripture out of Isaiah, and we save it for Christmas, but we've got to take Jesus just from Christmas and Easter, and we've got to really start living in him, because he said he is the way, the truth, and the life. So we've got to start living in him, because he died to give us more life, and to give us life more abundantly. So we've got to keep him at the forefront of our mind. We've got to start living, thinking about Jesus, running this race with him as the high mark. We should keep our eyes toward him. And because of that, again, we got to take him down off the cross, because he's not there anyway. He's at the right hand of the Father. And then we've got to appreciate Jesus's birth and where he was born, the birthing place. That's why you got to appreciate where God births these things that come out of you, whatever it is, whatever vision he's given you, whatever it is that he's birthed, the place that you're in when you birth it. I want you to do your own research, but just in case you didn't know, Jesus was not born in a barn. Jesus was not born in that nativity thing that they put up. That's not where he was born. If you do your research, you will find that actually Jesus was born in a cave. So in the neighborhood they were in where he was born, they had a cave that they used to put animals in. That's where the poorer travelers who had animals would put their animals in caves. This particular cave, they had, I use the word hewn, but they had dug out rock to use as a trough. So that nice little manger that they put Jesus in the nativity was actually a rock. Now, if you know anything about Jesus, you know that he is the rock of our salvation. You know that he is the cornerstone that the builders rejected. He's a rock. So Jesus, that is our Savior, that is our rock, was born in a rock and placed upon a rock after his birth. Then, if you know anything about Jesus, you know that the Easter story, that is this Easter story, but you know that Jesus was buried in a borrowed tomb. The tomb that he was buried in was a rock. His body, his lifeless body, was shrouded. You know, he was swaddled as a baby, and then he was swaddled as adult after he died. He was shrouded and he was laid upon a rock. And his birth, his new birth, when he got up and came back out, was he came out from the rock, off of the rock. The point of me saying all that is the place where you were born, you physically where you were born is important, but then the place where God burst that thing in you is just as important. Don't despise small beginnings, and don't let anybody tell you that nothing good can come out of where you are. Not only there are good things that can come out of where you are, and there are good things that can come out of you. Some of us have been told that we're worthless. Some of us have been told that we'll never do anything more than what we're doing. Some of us have not been told that, but we believe that for whatever reason. We've told that to ourselves. That's why it's so important that you get your language together, because Jesus, who was born in a rock, he was placed upon a rock. If he can do what he did, and he did what he did, then you can do even more, because that's what he died for. He died to give us life more abundance, and overflow, more than what you have right now. He died for you to have the more. Let us not have God regret what he did for us. Let us not have God regret that he gave his only begotten son so that we might have the right to the tree of life. Let us not despise those small beginnings. Wherever we are right now, appreciate where you are. Jot it down so that you can bring it back to your remembrance. So you can tell your children, do you know? And they were like, oh, they're going to go with this story. But do you know where we came from? Do you know how we've overcome this story, this legacy that you're leaving for your children's children and your children's children's children, the legacy that you're leaving for other people around you, because your legacy is not just for you and your family, it's for other people too, so they can see, so they can be inspired and know that it doesn't matter where you came from, is where you end up. You're going to end up totally greater than where you came from. Don't despise small beginnings, and what good can come out, great things can come out of wherever you are right now. Not just so where you were born, but where you are right now, the place that you're being propelled from right now, the place that you're being birthed from right now. There are great things that can come out of where you are right now. I hope and pray, as always, that this has blessed you in some way. I want to leave you with these final points. Get you a good midwife. Get you a good somebody that can pray with you, someone that can assist you in your journey. Don't despise your small beginnings. Don't despise where you began. Don't regret where you came from, because where you came from and where you're coming from is right where God would have you. Just ask him to continue to lead and guide you from where you are to where he wants you to be. Also, lastly, but not last, be sure to keep Jesus at the forefront of your thought. When all else fails, I said this yesterday, when all else fails and you're not quite sure what to do, call on the name of Jesus and remember him. If you're not quite sure, no matter where you read from Genesis, I'm going to say this, keep saying this, but from Genesis to Revelation, there's Jesus. He's there for you, and he will lead and guide you in the way that you will need to go, because he is the light. He's a light on the darkened path, and he will give you the light that you need to get to where it is that God would have you, is having you to go. Where he's having you to go, and you've already got the victory. So it's totally awesome. Just know that I'm rooting for you. I am cheering for you. I love you, and I'm going to say it again. I said it at the beginning and I say it now. Spoiler alert, you've already won. You've already got the victory. All you got to do is just stay on the path, keep going, and don't give up. Whatever you do, if you feel like, you know what, I'm tired, I'm not doing this no more, I'm just gonna go back to the way I used to be, don't do it. Don't go back to the way you used to be, because God is transforming you. He has transformed you, and go ahead and keep going. Don't give up, because the path that you're on is the right path. As the GPS says, you're on the path. What does it say? You're on the right path, and the path is clear, or the route is clear. Your route is clear. Keep going. Stumbling blocks may be around you, but it's still clear as long as you keep your eyes stayed on Jesus. Know that I am praying for you, that I hope and pray that you have a blessed and peaceful day. And if the Lord's willing, I will be back with you tomorrow morning, where we will begin to talk about how to deal with our emotions. So, be blessed and continue to tend your soil and pull those weeds that need to be pulled so you can be the person that God has destined you to be. Be blessed.